What's the difference between a Louis Vuitton bag and a normal ripoff? There's actually nothing, it's just the brand. So how do we get to that quality so that we could be valued at that? And what do we need to do?
I can use this to film a video, or I can use the camera there, which is the EOS R6 and costs about $5,000 with its lens. You can get the job done with both things. And for our tool comparison, I can write my script on a notepad, or I can use Clipflow.
Because I think this is where it's key. How do you nail pricing? Is you need to talk to your customer. This is the money question. What's Clipflow worth to you today? What would you pay for this per month?
Honestly, I would probably pay upwards to $300 a month.
This chat's for us has been like, it's one of those things that's just been constantly in the back of your mind. And you have like everyone telling you different things about pricing, right? Like you want to be high ticket, as you want to capture customers that pay you good money, because in the end of the day, you usually find people who pay zero to little money are the most demanding. Whereas businesses and things that would have lots of money, like for them, it's not a big outlay. So that's where it's like you go for the high ticket. Now, obviously with software, it's challenging because you have multiple other pieces of software that can be, you're seeing, it's kind of like a lot of people race to the bottom, right? They have like the $9 a month thing and people kind of compare and go, well, it's similar to that, so it should also be $9. But then you have those plans, obviously, as they tick it up, they go into Pro and they go into Enterprise, and everyone's playing the Enterprise game, right? The $9 is cast the net wide, capture as much as you can, hope that that person tells their business, converts into a Pro or an Enterprise plan, and now you're charging them $200,000 a year. That's the long-term play. That's when you have lots of VC money. You just throw it at advertising and you just capture every eyeball possible. For us at Clipflow, we originally started as a tool for YouTubers. We really wanted to focus on that. So obviously the audience was very different because generally a YouTuber starting out doesn't have much money. And we've kind of come to the conclusion that that's probably not the right direction. So we've kind of pivoted more into, and also it's just from feedback and the people who use it the most, is it's built for teams. It's built for high performing teams. It's people making lots of content. You're making not one video a week, you're producing 5 to 10 plus. So think about your agencies, think about your really high performing teams that are just literally punching out a new video every week or doing heaps of shorts. This is the chat that we're kind of having internally and trying to figure out what is that price? What does Clipflow look like if it costs $1,500 a month? But in the end of the day, the price of something doesn't matter. It's about how much perceived value you get out of it. And that's all that matters. What's the difference between a Louis Vuitton bag and a normal ripoff? There's actually nothing, it's just the brand. So how do we get to that quality so that we could be valued at that? And what do we need to do?
To get to $1,500, it's hard because the space we're in to make content is like there's a good amount of separation from business revenue. If we were selling leads, if we were a software that was like, we sell you business leads, it's very easy to go, this is worth 30% of your lead because you're going to give it away anyway. We've approached a space that's a little bit harder to get that direct comparison, and the work that you do takes longer. So like to get a result from an improvement in operations, you either have to already be doing it so that you're just dropping the time it takes to do everything by 50%, or if you are doing it, you're investing for the long term. It's a little bit trickier to get to the high ticket. One of the reasons like we sort of settled on 250 or even 1,500, those really high numbers, is because we want to be able to serve the smallest amount of people with the highest quality product possible. Mm-hmm. We don't want to come in at the $9 thing. Obviously, there's a good reason they do that, which is to get people in the door to ramp it up later. That's cool. That is a path to get the people in at the more expensive prices. But we think like if we really want to serve people and we don't want to have to like ignore them, we want to be able to hire people to build the best product. The fastest way to do that is to charge lots of money. So anyone who's jumping in, they're taking a bet on the fact that we're going to be here for the long term and we have the money to back us up to make the best product. You can't do that on $9 a user. You can't do that going for the bottom of the barrel, at least to start with. So that's one of the reasons we arrived at a higher number. It wasn't specifically $250 a month. It was being able to build a sustainable business from a revenue perspective with less than 10,000 customers. So we can take each one of those customers very seriously. And looking at the market size, yes, there are millions and millions of creators, but there's definitely 10,000 high performers that really want the exact tool built for them. And that sort of segues into this, where I can use this to film a video, or I can use the camera there, which is the EOS R6 and costs about $5,000 with its lens. You can get the job done with both things. And for our tool comparison, I can write my script on a notepad, or I can use Clipflow. They're both perfectly fine paths. One costs a lot more than the other, Same for the camera. One costs a lot more. What's the outcome I'm trying to get? Well, I'm trying to communicate something to an audience that because I have high quality cameras, you should listen to me more. There's more authority there. By using the right tool, some people are going to want to use it. Some people aren't going to want to use it. And that's where we end up like recording audio with a lav mic or spending the money on this. There are people who will think that spending $150 on a mic is the stupidest purchase ever. And then there's hundreds of thousands of people who want the best audio quality to communicate something. And I feel the exact same way about the software. There will be a huge market of people who really want the best thing in the business, and they're not going to care about $250 a month. But we have to figure out that pricing, figure out if it's the right pricing and if that's true. That's the hypothesis. Follow along to find out where we end up.
Set a really high anchor price and then offer a lower tier price as well. Go for the gasp. So it's like, oh, it costs that much money? And it's like, yeah, it does. And this is why. And like, if you're confident that it's worth that much money, it's a much easier sell. Like, even if you look at our old platform, we used to charge a per campaign fee. And in the beginning, it started at $30. And for us, because we started at, it started at free because we were offering a service. And then eventually we started charging for the system because the system became so powerful. You save a lot of time. The problem with selling something that saves time is a lot of people don't value time, even though it's your most valuable asset. So when you can convince people that have already, the best customer is going to be the one that already feels the pain. And they already go like, for me to spend $250 a month is nothing because of the amount of time I'm saving, right?
Yeah,
so
it has to save me half an hour and it's paid for itself. Sort of.
Correct. And that's how I think now. So when I look at a new tool and I go, okay, how much time is it going to save you on an edit? It's going to save me this much time. Done. Lock it in. Let's go. Like, you don't even want to think about it because it's just like, it's going to save time. We're going to move faster. We're going to do more. So we're going to go for the gasp, go for the, wow, that's really expensive. But you're also going to cull a whole bunch of people that you don't want. We're creating friction on purpose. It's not something that we're going to go like, oh, no, we want everyone. Because that's what happens in business when you start. Everyone goes for anyone with a pulse or a credit card. And then you end up just doing any work. We really want to be focused on creating the best. Just like Daryl said, hiring the best people to deliver the best product to help you make the best content and deliver it as fast as possible. And I think we're a really good example of this because we're a business and all we care about is getting our content out there. Like, if it costs a little bit more, that's fine, but we're using it to run 4 channels and do it seamlessly. No headaches, no mistakes, content's delivered on time. Everyone knows in the team where the content's up to. We can easily review. I can jump in and watch what's happening with my team, even though I'm not involved directly. I can go, I want to quickly review this video. Oh, that was sick. That's cool. I can have it on the pulse. Whereas if you were doing this manually, I'd be like, hey guys, can you send me the link for that video that we're going to publish so I can check it out? And then like, how do I review a comment? I'll send it in Slack. I'll send you a message. So we're building for that. It's the high performing teams that want to win. And we want to work with those kind of people, because we think that that's where we can also learn to build a better product. But if we're going for the $9, which is the YouTuber who started up and then only does 3 videos and gives up, you're going to have high churn, right? They're going to be less likely to use the tool. Like, I also find myself where for a tool that I don't use often, if I pay little money, I don't use it that often, I just don't use it. But if I'm paying a lot of money for something, I'm more incentivized to use it. So I'm actually going to be more successful with that product. It's going to actually give me back. We started at 30 and eventually it became 120. It was for pretty much the same software, but it's for a different clientele, right? Like, the higher performers needed a tool to do all these things. The lower performers are like, it's too expensive at $30, but the high performers were like 120, no problem per campaign. So overall, the monthly fees like could be 10,000 depending on your volume, right? It becomes something that you do with volume. And those are the kind of people that want the tool, need the tool, and it's about identifying your core audience. So that's why we're kind of coming in. But again, it's all experimental. We don't know. $249 could be one of those things where you get no one, but it could also be a place where you find the right people.
My take is that it starts at $250, and by the time we get the sign-ups on the like discounted rates, by the time we've finished discounting, it'll be $250, and then every year it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah. The key thing for your pricing here is always try and provide more value than what the price tag is. We want to be providing $1,500 of value at $249. Like, that's the start. And the way we're going to ease into it is with discounts, like Daryl says, right? So it's like you start in at 90% off, and then over time that percentage drops to 0, and then it's none percent off, and then the price goes up. And because you joined early, you got in at that really nice discount and grandfathered in.
That's the thing. Getting the discount means we'll get people in, and then through those people using it, we'll be able to get them to say, I saved this much time. I would have saved this much money. This would have cost me this much more. So that by the time you're asking for $240, you've got the price anchor of someone you don't know who makes content saying, this saved me easily $5,000 a month. You're like, can we have $250? yes, you can. You can have that money. Can we have 450? Maybe. Like, just keep leveraging it up and keep asking people how much time they're saving, how much it's worth to them, how much the outcome for the business has been, because that's something we'll need to ask people is like, you run a business selling this. How much does your content contribute to the sale? Well, it's 30% of my sales. How much do you sell in a year? $8 million. Okay, so would you say that the operations of your content is important enough to contribute massively to that number, which could be in the millions? Yes. Then you're asking a completely different question about pricing. You're not even trying to price it for a number that people think is stomachable, because you're going to present them with an offer which is, this will make you millions of dollars if you're the right person.
We want to get to a point where we actually replace certain people, right? Like, you don't need to have all these other people managing things if the system can do a lot of it for you. If you can talk to it and get information out, and you don't have to have that person that does that one thing. Maybe you can run what you used to have a team of 10, you can run it with a team of 3. Because you can do more.
Getting the ratio down. Kind of similar to Cursor and AI. You don't need as many juniors anymore. Well, you don't need as many junior content type people anymore. You still need the best people, but they're more powerful because they're using this thing which hosts all of the other things you need in one spot.
And if we can start surfacing, so that's why we try and think, like, what do you need to do to be worth a certain amount of money? And that's different for every system, every business, everyone. And funny thing is, a lot of people actually value paying more money for something than less. When you pay more money, your first thing goes in your mind, oh, this is quality. Then you go, this thing's going to stay around. Then you go, oh, I'm using the best. And that's what people want to do. They want to use the best. Why do you want to spend all the money on the brands? Because you think it's the best. I do this. I don't buy cheap stuff. I buy, like, Daryl laughed at me the other day because I bought the Canon branded battery for my camera. When I could spend $50, I'm like, no, I want to spend $350 because I know it's not going to blow up my camera. They've built a brand. OEM, it's the original manufacturer. I have
more likely to back it up as well.
Yeah, versus some cheap knockoff, right? And that's the same. We want to be the legit product, not the cheap knockoff. Yeah, you can get the cheap knockoff and you can stick it together and it's going to cost you $15 a month. But that's not what we are, and that's not who we're trying to be.
Especially with like how easy everything is to like spool up many tools these days. I would say anyone watching this, if you are making a small product, trying to price it, and you're coming in, I'll just look at all the competitors and go cheaper, so will everyone else. And like, then it's not worth building anymore, and it's going to keep getting lower and lower and lower. If you charge more money than the competitor, but your tool's not quite there yet, then you have a messaging problem. You have to find the value for the person that can be the customer, but then you'll have more money to make a better product. And that is going to be a sign of like, how much does this cost? Are they going to be around forever? I don't think that's a sustainable business model. So there's a lot of scheduling tools coming out at the moment. People are taking, I think it's Posters open source. They're forking it, making their own ones, and they're cutting down the price to $3. I'm not going to sign up to one that's that cheap, because I don't think the person will stay around, because I don't think it's a sustainable business model. You'll find someone in the middle ground or someone on the expensive end that's been around.
Totally. It's all about the quality, right? And people want to get paid. The best need to be paid. So if you want the best product, you're going to have to pay for it. And I think it's going to be a really cool experiment. It's definitely something we'll come back and look at.
We were wrong.
Yeah. Or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, we've interviewed customers. I think this is where it's key. How do you nail pricing? Is you need to talk to your customer. This is the money question. What's Clipflow worth to you today? What would you pay for this per month?
Honestly, I would probably pay upwards to $300 a month for this.
300?
Yeah, probably more.
If I said to you next month it's $300, you'd pay it?
Yes, I would. I would for sure.
Because don't worry, you're not paying it. You don't have to pay it.
Yes. No, but I would. I would.
Want to know. Sure. And if Clipflow disappeared, would you be sad?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like literally I migrated everything into here because I loved it. Like, I never lived in the product. So yes.
What would you pay for this? If this cost this much money, would you use it? If this product disappeared, would you care? Like, is this helping? You need to first, and this is why we've taken so long to introduce pricing, is because we want to build a quality product first. When we believe it is quality and we believe in our core that it's worth that much money, then we can sell it for it. Because in the end of the day, the best salesmen are the ones that believe in what they're selling. So that's why we've kind of gone to V3 to get here. And it's through feedback and talking to people. And we've had people say, this tool, if it did this one thing, it could be worth $2,500 to me. And you're like, great. Well, let's make it do that thing, because then it's worth $2,500 to you. If it's worth $2,500 to you, it's probably worth at least $1,500 to you, or even at minimum $250 to you. Mm-hmm. So that just raises your bar. So it's something to do, but you got to talk to your customers and you got to keep iterating and becoming better. If you sit there and do nothing, you're doomed from the start.